name's Mrs Singh and I work at Nottingham Academy. We are very fortunate to be working with Jamie Oliver's Tesco Community Cooking School. Today we are going to be making chili veg with rice. The importance of our core learning skills are going to be knife skills, how to control heat, how to simmer, how to cook rice, how to use chili, herbs and spices, and how to get more veg into our diet. The core nutritional message is to try and get 5 a day into our diet. Preferably just eat the rainbow, eat all your favourite coloured vegetables, and the importance of whole grain and balancing your food. Right, we don't always have fresh vegetables in our cupboards, but we always have lots of tins left over and we can use those. We've got chickpeas that we can put in. We can use tinned tomatoes if we don't have any fresh tomatoes. We can use butter in beans, and we can use any pulses like lentils, kidney beans, that's what we're going to be using today. Okay, we've also got some green beans here. As for our fresh vegetables, I'm going to be using a courgette today, butternut squash, a sweet potato, some peppers, carrots, onion, garlic and a celery. Okay, so firstly what we need to do before we do anything else is put some water on to boil. Okay, and while we're waiting for that to boil up ready for our rice, we're going to go back over here and we're going to chop an onion. Right, firstly we're going to chop an onion. You can use a brown onion or a red onion. What I'm going to do is use a red onion. Do not cut the root, as that's going to hold the onion in place, and that's obviously where the onion grows up. So we're going to use the bridging method here. So what we do is we chop off the end like so, and then we take off all the skin. Okay, I've got a little bowl here where I've put all my peelings in too. So we'll just gather them and put them in. So to cut the onion we're going to use the bridging method, and this is the bridging, so it looks like it's sitting underneath the bridge. We chop into the middle, so, which keeps the onion together, and then we use the rocking motion like this. Keep your things right back. Okay, and then we turn it around and we chop them all to the right size. And that's how we chop our onion, and there's the end that we don't need. Right, here we have a carrot. It's really cleaned up nicely, so we're not taking the skin off. We're going to just chop it again using the bridging method. So 2 fingers on each side, the rest of the fingers away. We put, there we go, down like that, and we chop it to the same size as the onion so that they all cook the same at the same time. Okay, so the next fruit that we're going to chop up is the sweet peppers. Okay, so if we put those to the side, those two, what we need to do is de-seed. So again, bridging, chop. Okay, and to de-seed, what we do is we just use a spoon if we want to or you can use your fingers, okay, and just pull it out and put it in there, okay. Get rid of all your seeds, you don't need them. I've already done my green pepper and a little bit of a red pepper, so what we'll do is we'll chop it down. Again, make sure you use, curl your fingers in and just chop, okay? If you've not chopped like this before, just take your time and chop it away, okay? Okay, so probably change to the bridging method again now. Keep your fingers well away and just chop it down. So that's a little bit of that one, a little bit of the red one. Again, keep your fingers well away. Just try and keep all your veg the same size so that it all cooks. Probably don't need to use a knife this big, but there you go. So there's our 3 different onions. It's already looking like a nice rainbow. And the final bit we're going to do now is use 1 clove of garlic, okay? Nice way to do the garlic. Just move these to the side a minute. Is get your knife, put your knife down on the garlic and press down. You hear that crunching sound, you know that the skin's coming off. So there you go. Okay. That's the skin that's come off, the bits in there. And what we do is now, again, just chop it up really finely. If you haven't got any fresh garlic, you might have some garlic granules, which I've got some of here. So if you want to use them, it's basically the same. You might have some frozen garlic in your freezer, which I use quite a lot to save time in Asian cooking. So just keep chopping this into little bits like this, okay? Never touch the blade, so you might chop your fingers off. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add a little bit of oil to our pan. I'm going to use a little bit of olive oil. I usually keep it in this container. We need about 1 tablespoonful. Don't need a lot, okay? So here we go. Just enough to stop the veg from sticking. Okay, so that'll be our little bit of fat that we use. So if we put on quite low, there we go. Once it starts sizzling, we'll know that it's warm. Okay, I'm ready now to add the onions. So what we do, as you can see, look, it's all nice and hot, so we add our onions. Okay, we need a wooden spoon here. We'll just let these sweat down a little bit. Quite a low gas because we don't want them to burn. Okay, so here I am with my sweet peppers. I'm going to add the sweet peppers to let them cook a little bit as well. It's already looking lovely and delicious. Give these a little stir. Okay, while they're sweating, we'll just check the water for the rice. That's bubbling away really nicely, so what we're going to do is add the rice and let it cook. So here we have our brown rice, which is whole grain rice, which is really good in your diet. Okay, and we're going to add it to our water, which is boiling away now. There we go. What we do is just put the lid on and let that boil for about 20 minutes until all the water disappears. Put the lid on and just let it in. Just give this a quick stir. Put the heat down a little bit. We don't want things to burn. Okay, now I'm going to go over and get my garlic. So here we are with the garlic. So we just add the garlic in, all nicely chopped. There we go. Give it a nice stir. You can already smell it, it's smelling really nice. You don't want to add the garlic too early because the garlic will burn. So we'll let this just sweat itself down. Just turn the heat up a tiny bit more. So while this is cooking away, we'll go and prepare some more vegetables. So now we're going to start chopping our fresh vegetables. I'm going to start off with the courgette, so we take off the end. Okay, chop it into parts and bridge in again, down and again, and then same size as your carrots. Okay, that's the courgettes. As you can see, if I can put a portion in my hand, one portion, if you can get it in the palm of your hand, is one portion per person. So that's how we measure how many people we can cook for. And again. And that's the courgettes done. Now I'm going to add a sweet potato. Again, you can use any vegetables you like. So we chop off the ends. This is all nicely cleaned again. Make sure you do wash all your vegetables when you bring them home or when you're about to use them from the supermarket. It's a bit tough, so I'm going to do it like this. Hands are away from the knife and it's on the top. There we go. Okay, again, bridging again. So fingers are out the way, knife down. There we go. And just chop it down. Chop this one. Remember to take photographs of your cooking as you go along, as Jamie Oliver would love to see them. See what you're making, what you're up to. I hope I'm not going too fast for you. And that's our sweet potato. And the last root of vegetable we're going to use is a butternut squash. So what I'm going to do is chop it in the middle, my hand on top. Turn it around so that you're not struggling. There you go. Take off the end. And again, bridging. Left the skin on this as well, it's nice and clean, and there's lots of fibre and nutrients in the skin. So we keep all that together. Just going to put chopping it away. If you feel they're a little bit too big, just chop them down again so that they all cook at the same time. So butternut squash. I'm just going to go over and check our onions and garlic and peppers are all doing quite, see how they're doing. Right, here we go. So these are cooking really nice and they smell so nice. You can smell the garlic cooking, you can smell the onions, it's really smelling delicious. Okay, so that's doing really well. We'll just let that carry on for a minute. Okay. Now I'm going to go over and just do one more root vegetable, and that's our celery, because that just adds a bit of crunch to your chilli. Okay, so we've got all our root vegetables just there. I'm just going to now add a little bit of celery. As it gives a little nice crunch to the meal. I'll chop the celery down. Celery, you don't have to add celery. Okay, so here we go, add our celery. So now we're going to add our spices, and what we're using today is some mild chili powder. All we need is a little teaspoon, depending on how hot you like your chili. You can use fresh chilies, but these are just as good. Once you've tasted it, when everything's cooked, if you feel you need more chilies, you can add some more of this, or you can add some chili flakes. Okay, so we're going to just get 1 teaspoon out and sprinkle it on. Okay, and here we have cumin. We don't want whole cumin, we want cumin powder. So again, 1 teaspoon. It smells lovely. And that's those two. So we just mix them in. I know it looks a little bit dry at the minute, but we're going to add some tinned tomatoes. And some kidney beans and some butter beans. Okay, so I'm going to go over there and get the rest of my vegetables. Now that they've all cooked a little bit, and the peppers and onions and the garlic is all nicely cooked, what we're going to do is add some sauce to it. Firstly, we're going to add a tin of tomatoes, so we'll just put those in. We're going to add some butter beans in water. Make sure that you always try to buy things that are in water so there's no salt, extra salt in your food. Okay, so in water, add it with the water so it gives it more juice, more flavour. And then we're going to add the kidney beans. Okay, here we go, kidney beans. Okay, like a nice sauce. Well, we can turn the heat up now so that these can start cooking. Looks really nice, doesn't it? I think we've got enough here for a whole month. You can cook lots and you can freeze it, but you've got to make sure it's really cold. You can also reheat up rice, which is bubbling away there, but you've got to make sure it's really piping hot. There's a lot of people that you can't reheat rice, but you can. So we've turned the heat up on there. We should just let that now cook. Okay, so now I've got all my root vegetables here. We're going to add these to the pan, and we're going to let them all cook for at least 15 minutes. Okay, so let's add the courgettes, the butternut squash, the celery, the carrots, the sweet potato. Got to give them a good 15 minutes, but make sure they are thoroughly cooked before you take them off. Looks really vibrant now, this does, really lovely. If you find that your water is decreasing, just get some normal boiled water and add. So we'll just let this cook now, and we'll be back to look at it soon. Before we go, let's just add a bit of black pepper. And a little bit of salt. And then we just leave that to do its thing. Okay, so we just leave that and let it cook. You'll find it will go down and it won't look as much once it's really cooked its way. Just leave that there like that now. So here we have our brown rice all ready and cooked. I've just fluffed it up a little bit. I haven't made a lot because not everybody's ready to eat. So we're going to dish it out. Good whole grain brown rice as part of your nutritional diet. Okay, so our sweet chilli has now been cooking for 15 to 20 minutes, and what we're going to do is add it to, there we go, looks lovely. Bit of colour in there as well. There we go. And then just in case it's a bit too spicy, we can add 2 spoons of natural low-fat yogurt. There we go. Just get it all out. And to finish it all off, we're going to add a little bit of coriander. If you don't like coriander, you can add parsley just to give it a little bit of colour. And there we have our sweet chilli and rice veggie dish. Bon appetit! Please make sure you do record or take photographs of yourselves whilst you're cooking. I hope you enjoy it. Get your children involved. They can do little things like taking the middles out of the peppers and picking the coriander and things like that. Okay, hope you enjoy it. Let me know how you get on. See you for our next recipe, which I'll let you know is going to be fish cakes and coleslaw soon. Thank you.